Flight Boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon, Flight Boss, the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now I want to talk about Virgin Mary. Now, when you looking at any type of religious text, I don't care how far back it goes, everything is about the stars. All sciences, all religion, all spirituality is from the stars. Now, the way stars are born, you need to understand there's mixed gender, there's planets that's dominantly, or stars that's dominantly on male and female traits, where it creates its own life. Then you have planetary stars that kind of geared towards one side of the energy, so they need a participant that correlates more with the other side of the energy, and when they come together they create influences and orbs and lights and create lesser mixture bodies, and that's how they give birth and things of that nature. So when you look at life, right, everything is expansion and contraction. So we know that the level of life that's above us was once in the position we was in, because we're traveling, we're moving. So we know that there must have been stars and things of that nature in this space and location before the stars that we have here in this location now, and that was birthed here now. So when you're looking at any ancient text, this is why they correlate everything to like your kind of life, because it is like your kind of life. When they say men having sex and Zeus and all this shit having sex and having life and life out their head and life down, it's all different levels of life. So when you talk about us being a part of Virgo, the constellation, right? The constellation Virgo and that group of stars is a Titan, which means it's a being or bodies that's correlating to the yin, feminine energy of the earth element, which is dealing with structure, time, pattern, nurturing, caring, and things of that nature. Now, this star we on, this planet we on right now, Earth Gaia, right? What was once in this location and what this makeup is made out of is the Virgo constellation. So where we at right now was once Virgo, was once that constellation. So this is what the Virgin Mary represents. Now the Virgin Mary gave birth to Jesus Christ. Now you're going to ask this question, right? Okay, since you saying Virgo was once Earth, and Earth is astrologically made up and birthed out of that constellation, somewhat you could say it's a part of that constellation, then what you could say is, okay, the Virgin Mary gave birth to Jesus Christ, and since it was the earth, right, that takes us into this way of thinking. This is why every time you get somebody trying to decipher the Bible in Jesus Christ, they come to the assessment that it's talking about the sun, and the sun travels through the sky, right? So once you start to think, you like, okay, this means that Virgin Mary gave birth to Jesus Christ, and if Jesus Christ is the representation of the sun, then that means Earth gave birth to the sun. So what is this telling you? It doesn't matter what religion or what ancient Egypt or whatever, the stories is going to sound like things are being birthed from a body or a planet. So what it's saying is stars are birthed, and the same way how the sun was birthed is the same way how you are birthed. So this is what you're becoming. So the same way the sun came out of the earth, earth birthed the sun. This is why the sun and the moon is closest to the earth. This is why the sun, you see what I'm saying? The earth birthed Mercury. Now you probably thinking like, okay, in scientific terms, the sun is way bigger than earth. Okay, the form of body it is. You might can't understand that level of life, but it's a light body. What you're seeing is not actually what it is. You see what I'm saying? So the mass of it is just the source. Your mass of your source, I can't necessarily tell that. I can just see your shape and form because you're in the realm of reality and I am. But your source could be big or small based upon how much pull you got, how much influence you got over others, how much attention you could be able to you can obtain. That's how much of a source you are. So that's how bright you are, how much light you are. So if you have a bright light, that light can be attracted and be seen by a large amount of people, aka you get paid attention to. See, that's the realm that's not being seen, but you're seeing that in a higher realm when you look at the higher life. You see what I'm saying? When you look at the higher life. Now these are still forms of bodies, it's just less dense bodies, less dense forms that spirits can take. Your spirit can't take those bodies yet because you're in this body. So your spirit is still heavy stuff on it. So you took a lesser dense body because you correlate to those type of shapes and forms. So when we talk about Virgin Mary is about a story of a woman birthing Jesus, birthing Jesus Christ without having sex. Now planets and stars, they birth seeds without having sex. Their relationship is in a different type of way. The way they relate and have sex is in a different type of way. So when you get lost in the physical and think Virgin Mary was on the level of life that you are on right now, this is where you get confused and be like, I never seen a person have birth by themselves. But planets do it all the time. And like I said, where we at right now, the level of life above us was once here. So this is why the only way we could come up with the stories was in the reality of the level life we're on right now. So it still makes sense because they actually walked the earth. But the level of life that they did it on was much larger than us because we're within that expansion now. And once we expand as spirits, we're able to take that level of life type of body now and be able to perceive that level of life. And be able to understand what was once that level of life was the level of life that you are on right now. So you're not going to understand those shapes and forms to a totality until to your spirit, your shapeless, formless, odorless, smokeless flame, attach enough information, aka go through enough experiences in this realm of reality to be able to expand enough, to have enough understanding, to be born and start to learn that realm of reality with that kind of brain and shit. You see what I'm saying? So the constellation Virgo was once, although spread out, was once condensed as what Earth is right now in this level of life. And it gave birth to the sun. So I don't want to, so we could get into shit like Earth having sex with Jupiter to give birth to the sun. Earth has sex with Saturn. There's a lot of incest going on here. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to get lost on scientific terms as large mass as when you look at a fat person and you're looking at the sun. I just broke that down when we talk about source. Source body. This is the body that your spirit control, which is like your soul, your individual soul. And we can see the vibration based upon how much source you give off, how much pull you got, how much energy you have. And that's when we look at the sun. It's a big ball of energy, right? And it's a spirit that can take that form of body, a light body. But for the most part, the spirit that takes that have names. For an example, you are a spirit in your body that you are in right now. So fuck the name that your parents gave you. You always come up with your own nickname. Or sometimes you do correlate and give meaning to the name that they gave you. But for the most part, you always come up with your own nickname or your own jazzy way of expressing yourself with your own name. That's your spirit. So every 2,000 years and things of that nature, that sun die, and another spirit takes the transformation of that body. That body gets transformed and become a new looking son or a new looking something, and the spirit be able to take that fucking body. And then the civilization, the influences and the consciousness it give off to the world, that's to the lesser life that's under it, they start coming up with that son want them to do. They start coming up with governments, how that spirit want them to see and be consciously aware, and how to act in their actions. This is why the sun make up your actions and how you're consciously seen in your physical makeup. You see what I'm saying? The spirit that's going to be in that sun 2,000 years from now is going to make the humans up under that and the beings up under that come up with the names that it want to be called. So it may not be Jesus in that time. It may be Akhtapiashis. You know what I'm saying? That might be what it want to be called in that region. Then in another region it might want to be called Siakasiasisi. You know what I'm saying? Then another region it might like to be called Misiapi. You know what I'm saying? Then they all come up with similar stories, just deciphering it in their own way on how the light of that light body, aka how it's acting, how it's moving from east to west, or however they want to correlate it in that time, and how the light is hitting them, but aka how they're perceiving and receiving the light, and that's how they're coming up with their perspective of that motherfucking spirit utilizing that body and moving that sun body how it wants to move based upon how long it's gonna live. So it lives 2,000 years the same way in the lesser life as a cell within that motherfucking body. You live motherfucking 70 years or 80 years. So you know what I'm saying? This is getting deep to really understand that everything you see out there was birthed from another version of that, and you're becoming that because the same way those was birthed, you got birthed the same way. So same way cells reproduce in your body, you are a cell. You always been a cell. A spirit took on every small star, every small cell in your body. So you are that spirit that's connected to the astral realm. That's the unseen. That's always going to be unseen in any type of physical energy realm. From non-physical to physical, you're not going to see the spirit because it's a part of the frequency vibration realm. So it take all cells, and it learn that level of life and die and go into, once it learned in that realm of reality, right, it transform out of that cell and then go into another, create another cell, and then it creates a whole bunch of bodies to take within you till it can come out in every realm of reality. So this is why all your cells die. This is why they say when you smoke too much or you killing your brain cells. When you look up cells, all forms of cells, your brain cells, your blood cells, all forms of cells reproduce. They reproduce and they die. So when you look at you as being a human, you reproduce and you die. So when you look at the brain cell, your spirit will take a nucleus or something like that, boom, die in one of those and take a heavier cell because of those experiences that add more weight and density to the shape and form or that light or that gas or that fluid. So the spirit is able to take a heavier body, aka come in a lower density or realm of reality, right? So then all them cells die, transform, and come out in the world. So basically, when you looking at cells, and when you went into the female, right? The cell and the sperm cell is nothing more but your skull developing, and then when you go into the egg, that's all the fluids, the blood, the emotions, the motion, the feelings, the emotions, and then the organs being curating, and it's like a tree. The sperm cell, which hardens up and become your skull and your spine, and then the egg that it went into is all the ingredients to help develop like the fruits off the tree. Look at your spine like a tree, and then the fruits is like the organs that get developed from the egg, which is your kidneys, then your brain and all that shit, and they hang off the stems of the spinal cord and the skull, aka the sperm cell. Once it hard, that's the home that it can live in to harden up and have these things hang on the wires, and then it's like it got the wires where the kidneys and your brain and shit can spring on and sustain itself, and then the egg itself, which is the womb of your mother, it wraps around and develop the skin tissue and which is all blood. Then you come out. So you're really just a developed cell through every level of life. You're a cell. You're just a cell, but you are a spirit using this cell. And your cell is nothing but a body. So when you're looking at your body, this is a developed sperm cell with the egg, and all the organs and things that's wrapped around it is the egg. So you're going into every life as a cell, but the juice that's in the cell itself is your spirit. That's always going to remain unseen, unknown. You see what I'm saying? So this is how you know you're going through every level of life, but you're keeping the experience and the remembering shit based upon the experience. And it's adding more wideness to your spirit. So when your spirit outgrows a cell, right, then is bigger. It could take a bigger or heavier cell, which can bring it into a life. And then now, this is the kind of cell you is now. Then once you reach the egg, aka gain enough experiences and information in this life, boom, your spirit is too big for this cell now. So it got to go to a higher, bigger type of cell in a higher life. So then your spirit got enough information to create and take on one of those bodies and create parents for yourself to go in those fluids and come out in that world. You know what I'm saying? And then you can have you a bigger cell, because your spirit is a bigger expansion and contraction now. It developed enough information. It can't take these cells no more, because we know cells die. So when this cell die and go down, your spirit go take a bigger cell. So you've been going through so many cells, because all these cells been dying. You know what I'm saying? So you're in this cell, and once your spirit outgrow this cell, it's gonna die. So just think about when you first took the sperm cell. You outgrew it, and that died, and then you went into your mother. You see what I'm saying? The sperm egg, the fucking egg, the egg shit, and then that transformed, and then you just constantly transforming, taking different bodies. See, you see what I'm saying? First you took a fluid cell. First you took a brain cell. You learned that world and lived however you was gonna learn in that world as a spirit. Then once you outgrowed that brain cell, that person you was in, brain cell died. Whether they had an excitement or a down moment or a stressed out moment or they smoked too much, that brain cell died. But you developed all the information as a spirit, as a shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas, and you came into this realm. You needed to be in a world or a body that was there that preceded you, aka a parent or a bigger world. And then once that you outgrew that brain cell body, boom, you went into a fucking other type of body. Cell. Then you went into this cell, went into a cell, all the way till you reach to a sperm cell. Then boom, bow, you reach that type of body. Then that body is sufficient enough to reach into another world, which is the egg cell. Then boom, now as a spirit in that cell, you can outsmart all the other cell, aka just bodies, humans, in a lesser form. You outsmart them, get more information, get more experiences, aka you reach that egg. But you was in a mother feminine womb, right? Then boom, you get to harden up, be born. See what I'm saying? You as that body, you transform and get another body and take on all the blood cells into the mother now. As those wounds and start developing organs, and that sperm cell develop and as a skull to sustain the organs that's going to be hanging off your spinal cords and shit like that. Your spinal cord, the wires, your lungs and heart is hanging off these wires, asshole. So duh. And then motherfucker, you come, and this is how you get born. And this is why and as cells, your body, they always die, but your spirit don't. It just it goes into a bigger one. See what I'm saying? So this is how you understand life, and this is how you understand the spirit, and this is how you understand the physical realm, and this is all correlating to even what your Bible is trying to tell you, that what they're referring to is just a level of life, and you have to look at people like planets and stars, because that's what they are. And we're in a realm of reality where we're in a woman right now, which is Earth or Gaia, and she gave birth to the shit that you see around you. You see what I'm saying? So the sun is going around the earth. The earth is sustaining itself. This is why the earth is feminine energy, yin, and when you look at the sun, it's fire, it's male energy. So this is why it's correlated to the sun. But it's supporting the mother. So it's surrounding the mother, making sure it goes out and get food to bring back to the mother. AKA it's going out and bring lights from its travel, and these lights is making sure that the mother is cool and sustained. This is why on earth we have no choice but to feel the energy signature to play out the characteristics of a man supposed to take care of a woman. You see what I'm saying? A son is supposed to take care of his mother. When his mother gets him of age and she's tired of working, your ass is supposed to get up and go somewhere and be successful, that you could take care of your motherfucking mother. You see what I'm saying? This is where that energy signature come from. It come from that, what I'm talking about. And you can't debate that. You see what I'm saying? Because this, what you see above you is doing that on a greater level. You ain't doing nothing but becoming what you see outside of you, like the sun. Then once the sun get tired and old and things of that nature, it start becoming to be like Saturn. It start not reflecting light because it start going down in so many densities that the light, that kind of light, is an unreflective type of light. It's still a form of a light, but it's so heavy that it's not a reflective type of light. You see what I'm saying? And then once you get to that, it becomes what scientists may think is what they call it dwarf stars, or what they call it stars about to explode and shit like that. See, I just broke all that down, and I ain't even talk about no scientific terms. I'm talking about spiritual shit, and I just broke down y'all religion and scientific shit. Y'all see how that work? You know what I'm saying? But that's how you're supposed to look at everything. See what I'm saying? Flight boss, bitch. Goddamn air. Ee-hee.